Hey pumpkins, I had so much fun making my first video that I've decided to make another one, and we'll see where it goes from there because I still don't know how to edit. But I found out how to make thumbnails, so yay, progress! I want to talk today about New Year's resolutions and why so many people struggle with them, why so many people make them, and why so many people fail, and not only that, but how you can maintain your New Year's resolution. So, the DiClementi stages of change state that there are, hello, this is Merlin, everyone. Merlin is a good boy. There are 5 stages of change. So the first one is pre-contemplation, which if you're making a goal, you're beyond that. The next is contemplation, so you're thinking about your change. And then comes the step that most people miss, which is preparation. After that is action, and then finally maintenance. And why a lot of people fail on their Merlin. Why a lot of people fail on their New Year's goals is that they fail to make adequate preparations. They overindulge on New Year's Eve, and then the next day they just think they're going to be able to be completely different people. And it's really easy to think about, how future you is going to do something. Merlin, not right now. How future you is going to do something, and not really how present you is going to do that. So now it's being the fact that it's New Year's Eve, it might be a little late for some people to make that, but first thing you should really do if you're going to make a massive change in your life, especially if it's a physical change or a mental change, is to check in with your doctor and see if your goal is going to be healthy for you. If you're going to lose weight, if you're going to quit smoking, if you're going to quit drinking, are there any consequences to that? Most likely your doctor is going to be on board with it and have some resources for you. But I mean, if you're wanting to lose a large amount of weight, and let's say you're underweight and having some eating disorder issues, then those are things that need to be addressed with your doctor as well. But let's just say you're the average person and you are, probably looking to make some changes, and we'll just use weight as a common one, but I'm not encouraging people to lose weight if it's not healthy for them. It's something that I've struggled with, and I did go see my doctor about that, and ended up making some good progress. So when you're setting a goal, it needs to be a SMART goal, and SMART is an acronym that needs to be specific, it needs to be measurable, it needs to be attainable, it needs to be relevant, and it needs to be timely or time specific. So the first step, as I said, going to your doctor and making sure that that goal is attainable. So yeah, if someone weighs 150 pounds and decides they want to lose 100 pounds, that is probably not an attainable goal. That is probably a very unhealthy goal. However, if someone is in excess of 300 pounds, their doctor might be supportive of 100-pound loss, which in a year is actually attainable. Experts say that 1 to 2 pounds a week is healthy weight loss and easier to maintain. And if there are 52 weeks in the year, then that's 104 pounds if we were going to 2 pounds a week. Doctor may suggest more or less. And like I said, I'm just using weight loss as an example to illustrate the SMART goals and the DiClementi stages of change. So you figured out your goal is attainable, you figured out that your goal is specific, and now you're going to have something measurable. So how are you going to measure that you've lost this weight, or how are you going to measure that you've adequately quit smoking? And for some it might be getting your smoking level to 0. Some it might be over time decreasing the amount that you're smoking. Are you going to a nicotine replacement, such as vaping, such as patches, such as cigarettes? Again, talk to your doctor about that. I know there's a lot of vaping can be pretty controversial, but having that step that you're going to go to and how that looks when you've reached your goal. How often are you going to measure? So are you going to check in with yourself once a month and see how you're doing with your withdrawal symptoms, or how you're doing with stepping on a scale? I think, it's not something you want to do daily because you don't want to get discouraged, and you're looking at your long-term goal and your long-term progress, and not necessarily day to day, because things are going to go up and down. You're going to have bad days where, if you're trying to quit smoking over an entire year and you're really stressful, you might slip up. If you're trying to lose weight, especially for women, are hormonal cycle can influence our weight. You know, if you're a little bit constipated, you know, pardon the TMI, that can lead to not being able to reach your goals or having things go up and down. So you're looking for progress over time and measuring that over time. It's important that your method of measuring is reliable and valid. So, and if the validity and reliability are intertwined, and you want, so let's say if you're going to be using a scale, that you're using the same scale every time. If you're looking at maybe your lung capacity, that you're using the same measuring device for measuring your breathing every time, and that you're not changing things up because different measuring devices are going to give you a different result. Different scales in different rooms are going to give you a different result. You want something to be relevant, which is the next one, because we already talked about attainability. So if you're measuring it by your breath output, is that a good measuring of why you're looking to quit smoking? Is to increase your breathing? Are you looking to reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke? Are you looking to have more energy? So there's kind of it should be beneficial to your life in some way. You know, if you want to, you know, grow a few inches taller, well, you know, if you're younger, I guess, you know, how is that relevant to your life? And then having that to be timely. Having supports in place also for, you know, when you slip up. Are you going to punish yourself if you slip up, which I don't think is recommended? Are you going to reward yourself when you've met these goals, and what does that look like? Can you be your own gatekeeper? I had a professor once who was trying to quit smoking, and her method was to pick a charity that she hated and to write a check in an amount that would clear but would really hurt to this charity. It could be a political party you don't like or a religious organization you don't like. I'm not going to start naming names, but pick, you know, a charity that you don't like, and write a check, put it in an envelope, address the check, stamp it, and get a friend to hold on to it. And she told her friend to say, if I smoke one more cigarette, put this check in the mail. And that was enough to motivate her to never smoke again, or at least, you know, when I took the class last. So there are some methods. So to have goals that are SMART goals, that's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely, and to have contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance in your goals, so that these are long-lasting changes. You're not going to become a new person when the clock strikes midnight, and if you don't have support systems and plans in place, then you're probably not going to be able to reach your goals. I personally don't make New Year's resolutions, and it's kind of cliche, I guess. I do have goals, and I do have things that I'm constantly working on. I just don't use that as my timely. I don't measure it based on the January 1st. I have other ways to measure things. So instead, what I do is I have a word of the year, and this has been something that I've done for many years, and I found that it becomes the theme of the year. And I actually didn't have one for 2019, and 2019 was a very difficult year. I'm actually going to make some blog entries about kind of what happened and the domestic violence situation that I was in. But my word for 2020 is flow. And there are lots of types of flow, and this isn't a lady issue. This is about feeling like I'm in the flow of my life, which to me, when you're in flow, there tends to be a lot of synchronicities and coincidences, and things just kind of go, and you don't feel a lot of resistance. I think that I've felt like I was hitting a lot of brick walls this past year. So I'm really going to work hard on getting back into that sense of flow and loving what I'm doing and just enjoying the day. And the days kind of they feel different when you're in flow. And I don't know if I can find the words to say that, but I really enjoy that feeling of being in flow and of you know, an example, you know, being in the zone, some people call it, if you're working on something that you're really enjoying and you don't realize that 6 hours have gone by and you didn't need a break. And for me, that's what it's like when I read tarot. I don't feel like I need a break. I can do it. As long as I don't get too hungry or thirsty, like I'm good. I can do it, you know, an 8-hour day reading tarot. And I've done parties where after 3 hours, the people are like, oh, we've got one more person that showed up. Can you still do them? You must be so tired. You must need a break. And I'm like, heck no, I'm having a blast. This is what I love to do. And when you push yourself towards something, it's hard. But when you feel drawn to something, when you feel pulled to something and you just allow yourself to go with that flow, it's such a different feeling in life. And that's what I want to get back, because I feel like I'm not in flow. And today, I had an experience that was the first time being in flow for a long time. And what happened was my dog and I were at the dog park, and he had an unfortunate experience with a bloodhound, and nobody was hurt, everybody was fine. But I went to the closest building, apartment building, and I asked, hey, can I use your phone? You know, I got a call for a ride. Someone was supposed to pick me up later, and they're like, oh, where are you going? And I told them, and they're like, oh, we'll give you a ride, no problem. And I started talking with this lady. She was super cool, and you know, she gave me some great tips on things. And I mentioned that I was a professional tarot reader, and she's like, oh, I haven't had my cards read in so long. Yeah, I, as a thank you for the ride, I gave her a gift certificate for a 15-minute free reading, and yeah, so we're going to connect hopefully soon, and I'll be able to give her a reading as thank you. And so yeah, it was a really, really good connection, which wouldn't have happened if, you know, I hadn't shown up at the right place at the right time and she hadn't shown up at the right place at the right time. So that's what flow feels like. So that's what my word is. I want to feel flow for 2020. So I want to wish everyone a happy New Year's. I want to encourage you to like and subscribe. It does help me out a huge deal. This is only my second video. I'm not necessarily doing it to get monetized, or I'm really concerned about monetization, but I'm not going to turn it down, let me tell you. So if you could please hit the like and subscribe button, and comment below if you are making a New Year's resolution, what your resolution is, and if you're doing a word of the year, what your word is for this year. So yeah, have a happy New Year, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out.